Hi, this will be a quick tutorial on how to take a Rubik's Cube mosaic like this one and frame it into something like this so that you can hang it using the Twist Pixel DIY kit. If you need any help solving the cubes, learning how to do that, there'll be a link in the description. And at that, let's get started. So if you got a kit from Twist Pixel, it'll come with something like this, which is Rubik's Cubes to make the design, a template and some instructions, and then a couple rubber bands, usually one or two, and then a backboard, which has some like really strong peel and stick adhesive on the back, which you'll use to frame. If you got a big kit, something over like 100 or 200 cubes, then instead of a sawtooth hanger, it'll have a French cleat on it, but it'll be similar. So you'll get a frame, which will also have peel and stick on the back. Also, with the larger kit, you'll get these instead of rubber bands, which are basically just some aluminum rods with rubber bands in the middle, which will do a better job if you have a lot of cubes of straightening them before you put the backboard on. So after you've solved your cubes to make the design, the first thing you're going to do is flip the entire mosaic over on a table. The important thing here is that the design should still be there, so that if you were looking up from underneath of the table, you should still see the Mario or whatever design you've made. The way I like to make sure that that happens is just kind of envision it. So if I was flipping this entire mosaic over, this column of cubes would end up on the far left side, and then this column on the left side here would end up on the right, and then everywhere in between would be similar. So I usually start on one side, take a column, and then bring it to the other side, and then carry through like that. If you have a large mosaic, you won't be able to pick up an entire column like that, so maybe you pick up just half of one. But whichever way you do it, you just have to make sure that the design remains. If you just go around like flipping over columns like this, it's not going to make the mosaic. Or if you just flip one cube at a time, it's going to end up scrambled. After you've got your mosaic flipped over, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put the rubber bands that came with your kit around the perimeter of it. So one thing you want to make sure is that you sort of place it around the entire thing at the same time. If you try to pull it, I mean, you could have cubes go flying or something like that. So with the small one like this, like my hands are big enough, but if it gets much bigger than this, then you'll want another person to help you and hold one end at a time. So there's someone on all four corners and you can place it like that. And then what this is going to do is it's going to hold the cubes together taut, so that after you straighten it, the cubes will stay there, so that when you put the adhesive on, they'll stay put, so it'll be straight after you turn it over. After you get the rubber bands on, what you're going to do is just find any long enough straight objects to straighten the cubes to make sure your mosaic is straight. Usually like a book or a ruler or anything like that will work, especially if you have a smaller mosaic. The one thing is you do have the rubber band on the side, so you want to make sure that you're not touching that to straighten it, because the rubber band is uneven, so you'll end up with some cubes pushed in. So if you're straightening it, kind of hold whatever you're straightening it with at an angle so that it just touches the top corner, like this. And then just push together. Sort of like that. The best thing is if you do have one of these around, something like a carpenter's square or any kind of 90-degree angle is perfect. So that way your sides will be perpendicular and then you could just kind of push into it. And then after that, your rubber band will hold it in place, so it'll stay straight and 90 before you put the adhesive on. If you got the aluminum rods with your kit, you'll take one set and place it on the left and the right side like this. And then make a little bit of adjustment, make sure the rubber band isn't touching on the top and bottom. And then you'll take the other set and put it on the top and bottom above the first set. And then you can kind of like pinch the corners together to make sure that it's square. And then you can use anything like a piece of paper, like this person's using, to check that it's at a 90-degree angle. And then just push the cubes accordingly. And then it'll help to like push the rods towards each other for a second to like get rid of any gaps that are in the middle. And then push the mosaic flat. And then you're ready to put the board on. So after you got your cube straight with the rubber band on, you're ready to frame it. You got to be careful with this step though, because this adhesive is really strong. So after it touches any part of the mosaic, it's going to be permanent. So usually I like to put it in the center to make sure that you're going to see exactly how it's going to look after you put it. So there should be about an 1/8 inch of room around the entire side. And then it's a good idea to practice a couple times if this is your first time doing this, to make sure like when any part of this touches that it's in the right spot. The method I kind of like to use is to slowly hover down really close, and then after I can tell that it's center, I'll place one edge down. Here I'm placing the top. I'll make sure that that's where I want it to be, and then I'll let the rest of it fall down like that. When you feel ready, go ahead and you'll basically peel off the protective layer, and that'll reveal the sticky. And then flip it over. And then, like I said, slowly hover. Right now, none of it's touching. I'm just checking to make sure that it's exactly in the center before I let anything touch. And then after it's about where I want it, I'll place one edge. Here I'm placing the bottom. That looks pretty good, so I'll let the rest fall. And then you just want to press down everywhere along the surface for a couple seconds. Then you could take your rubber bands off and then flip it over. So it should be pretty good after that. The cubes aren't going to go anywhere. And then you could just put a nail in your wall and hang it. With the larger mosaic, one with like the aluminum rods, you'll do the same thing. So you'll remove the adhesive protective layer. You might have more than one sheet though, like this one. And then it's recommended that you use more than one person to help you if you have a large mosaic. So that way each person can grab a side like here. And then you'll do a similar thing, like hover close to it. And then after both you and your partner are centered, then one of you could put your side down, like here. And then if that looks good, the other person could put theirs down. And then same thing, you'll apply pressure for a while. Make sure you get every part of the mosaic for like at least 5 seconds. Make sure you get the corners. then after that's done, you can remove the rods, and then it should be ready to go. And then here's the same thing with a much bigger mosaic. Same thing, you'll peel and stick it, and then you'll be able to flip it over. Except you'll have a French cleat like this one, and you'll put the other half, you'll screw it into your wall, and then that'll grab underneath of the one mounted on the frame, so that it'll be sturdy. And then that's it. Enjoy.